let's get this thing going. How about that? Here we go. All right. Welcome to the public domain. It's Pokersesh. Poker Tour. I can't even find it. There it is. What the fuck is going on with World Poker Tour? Is YouTube down or something? I can't see it. What the fuck is going on? I have no idea if the show is going out right now. Hopefully we will find out shortly. But the World Poker Tour website almost seems to be our whatever. The World Poker Tour YouTube. There, it's working. There, it's working. There's Lilliputian Petrodactyl. Okay. I guess we are on the air. Gotta get this country club pour going. No time to waste. Oh, baby doll. Fill it up. All right. That's all I have left. My wife took it all. I don't even have one glass left. We're not even really getting a country club pour today. We're getting like half of a country club pour. Oh well. What are you going to do? Start the show anyway, even with half of a country club pour. There you go. We have a very special guest calling in tonight. So this could be exciting. There's a special guest. Okay. Zach, is that you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It's Zach Elwood, Tells Master.
Oh, you know I hate that.
You haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, I don't like the guru master stuff. I
remember after your first book, what was that? A decade ago at this point?
Yeah, 2012, more than a decade. Yeah.
Yeah, after your first book, you came on the old Pokersesh, and I gave you the moniker of Tells Master. You weren't into it then, but after all these years have gone by, you're still not. You still are not comfortable with the title of Tells Master.
Yeah, I'm not. Those are big shoes to fill. I feel uncomfortable taking those monikers.
When what's his name died, Mike Caro. I don't know that he's dead, by the way, but we'll just assume he's dead.
I wasn't sure either.
We'll just assume he's dead. Alive. When he died, you became the Tells Master.
I don't know. I'll answer to it, but okay. I don't like it.
Okay, good.
Well, I want to say too. I wanted to throw in before too long. I wanted to say back when I published that first book, I didn't know how it would be received, and
right.
You saying nice things about it really was one of the you and other people saying nice things early on made me feel better about it, and made me more enthusiastic, because I honestly didn't know how it would go. I put that together not knowing how it would go, and if everybody hated it, I would just
Right.
go away. But everybody seemed to like it, and you and other people giving me early feedback and saying it was cool, kept me more enthusiastic about it. So that was awesome. I wanted to thank you for that.
Well, I liked the way that you went about it in a very sort of methodical and scientific way, and you were more than happy to say when things worked out, and you're more than happy to say when things didn't work out. You
Try to keep it real.
impressed me early on with your realism about it. What you didn't treat it like an episode of CSI where like, oh my
Yeah.
god, the guy's toe turned inward and now I know I've solved the case, which is how most of this tells shit works.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to keep it real, and I didn't want to overstate what you could do with them, and trying to keep it real. I even went back in my first book and added in the intro and even basically setting it up and being like, just to keep it real, like even like very good readers of tells are probably only going to change a decision based on the tell, like two or a few times in a session. So I actually added that back in the very intro, because I had so many people telling me like, well, how often, they had an inflated sense of how often you could use them, even though I was trying to be careful about like how
Right.
infrequently you might use them. So yeah, I went back in there and like made sure people understood that at the very beginning. Yeah.
Well, this is. I mean, we're going to get into a lot of things tonight. Obviously, you have expanded your repertoire to like private tells coaching, and I think that you've coached high stakes players that play on streams, and maybe even players at the final table of the World Series of Poker. Am I right about that?
Yeah, there was two WSOP main event final table players, but that was back in the day when they had that big delay before
Right.
the November 9th. So they don't really, it's kind of hard to do that coaching now for bigger events like that.
But yeah, I definitely want to get into all that. And we're gonna take some calls too, obviously. And I have no fucking clue what these people are gonna say. I
So that's good.
You know what? Let me take one call to start out because the phone lines are already blowing up, and we will get to everything over time. All right.
Cool.
Okay. Grimmy Beanie Baby, you're on with the Tells Master, Zachary Elwood. Don't ask about something.
Dickory dock.
Okay, what's up?
I don't know what's up. Casinos a church in ancient history ago. People threw the rocks. Degenerate gambling fashion to way down the future.
Grimmy,
Never
Grimmy,
wish your
Grimmy,
opponent
Grimmy,
good luck.
Grimmy, Grimmy, Grimmy.
They're busy praying. There's no gamble, no future.
Grimmy. What does this have to do with Tells? This is something I wrote.
Oh, you want to get into the tells? All right, this question is for you, Mr. Krusty the Clown.
Okay.
You ever wear Joker makeup at the table?
That's I don't even fucking comb my hair. Do you think I'm gonna fucking take the time to put on makeup, you fucking dipshit? Now ask a real question or you're getting banished from the land. We have a serious guest on tonight. We don't have a fuck up like normal. We have a guy who actually is good at what he does. You should be prepared to ask a decent question.
That was a good one.
That was not a good. Okay,
All right, poker tells. All right, what's the most reliable poker tell? Fuck.
that's such a dumb
Oh,
question.
jeez.
Go ahead though,
Most
Zach.
reliable? Jeez, I haven't answered that question in a while. Most reliable. Phew. I should be more prepared to answer that question, huh?
Yeah, I think Mike Caro's crawling out of his grave right now to take his crown back.
Yeah, I think it's actually a hard question. It's harder a question to answer than you think, because like depending on what kind of game you play, it can vary. So nothing. I don't have like a. I'm gonna say like, I think eye contact and how people move their eyes after making big bets is like top of my list. And I think there's like the player specific tells, but there's also like they'll tend to fall in, for people that have those kind of tells, they'll tend to fall in a couple different categories. Either staring more when they're bluffing or staring more when they have a hand and are relaxed. I think the second one is more common amongst, recreational players, staring more at their opponent when they're relaxed and have a big hand. But apart from those things, there's also just like how relaxed their eye movements are. Like not even whether they're staring or not, but like how much do their eyes kind of like fluidly move around after a bet. And that's kind of the big tell, a big indicator usually of how relaxed they are, because bluffers will tend to like stare at one place, whether it's like the board or, stare at an opponent or stare at the board, or they'll just move their eyes less. So for me, yeah, the eye movement and eye contact kind of tells are pretty big on top of the list. But I also think it can really, the reason I say it's hard to quickly say that is like, depending on the games you play in, like there's going to be some tells more common than others. And so a lot of people don't have those eye contact or eye movement kind of tells. So
Zach, when you're coaching one of these superstars of poker, do you tell them to wear sunglasses? Is this a thing you might encourage one of your people to do?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, probably like you, I think it's good to, unless it's like a high stakes tournament or something, I think it's good to like keep things loose and try to maintain a fun atmosphere. But
right.
I think, and mostly I think most people are just not really looking for tells or don't know what they're looking for. So I think the fear of getting read by other players, even good players, I think is, pretty unlikely, assuming you try to remain balanced. Like assuming you know what the common ways to leak information are, I don't think you have too much to be afraid of, because I think it's fairly easy to be pretty balanced if you put in a little work on it and are aware of the major ways to leak information. And then B, I think most people just aren't that good at reading tells at all.
Here's a tell question you probably rarely, if ever, get asked. How do you know if somebody is looking for tells on you, and you should feed them? We're going levels here. We're going second, third level here. How do you know when it's time to feed your opponent a false tell? Levels on top of levels.
Yeah, that's. I had a section on that in. I think it was the last book, Exploiting Poker Tells, but I talked about it in the first book, I think. But my take is that the false tells, there's only a few kind of spots where that should take place. Like in general, I think it just creates too many levels where you're just bound to,
trick yourself,
overthink it, and then so I think the spots where it makes sense though is where your opponent, A, you think is pretty decent and professional and prone to noticing the most like known tells,
right?
And then B, that player doesn't think much of your game and thinks you're more recreational, right?
Right.
So if there's a spot where you both think both know that you're pretty decent, it becomes much more of a levels game where you're going to try to throw something in there.
Right.
But that said, I think, there's always room for getting creative. I don't have any hard and fast rules, but I think in general, that's like the places where they're most useful is where, they think you're more recreational and you're going to give them some common tell that they might, one that comes to mind that the kind of extreme example that I put in the book was like, they think you're recreational and you shove all in and say something like, well, I guess I'm going home or something like that, kind of like a hand weakening kind of range there. And they're like, oh, I'm folding to that. A lot of players would be like, oh, I'm folding to that one or something.
Yes. But here's why I asked that. It was thank you for the answer. It's a good answer. But here's why I asked that. You are working with some elite players, correct?
Well, I should say, full transparency, I did some high stakes consulting years ago, and I've been pretty out of the poker scene for quite a few years. I have barely played. I've barely done much in the poker world for the last 6 years, especially post COVID. And but then somebody approached me recently who plays in some real high stakes cash games, and some of his opponents play on some of the streams.
Right.
So he approached me about analyzing that stuff. But yeah, other than that, it was like several years ago when I was doing more frequent
Right.
consulting, and I'd say it was like the two World Series main event final table players,
Yeah.
and then a couple other players, and then it had been like that had been like 8 years ago or something.
So,
yeah,
but I
me
mean,
getting back into it, like the reason I wanted to talk to you, and the reason I'm doing my stream on Saturdays, kind of because this player analyzing footage with him and going over some stuff, and we were watching footage blind, with the whole cards blocked and seeing what we saw,
Right.
in going in blind. That got me back into thinking about this stuff, and so I've been thinking about it more than I have in the past like 7 years or so.
So, but the question is, if you're watching video of an elite player's opponents, some of whom are also elite players, some they run the spectrum,
Yeah.
even in high stakes
Yeah.
games, and
Yeah.
you are picking up a tell, say you've correlated it through enough hours to say, I think this is it. At what point do you ever start to second guess yourself and say, like, is this guy feeding this to us? Like, if you pick up a tell on, like, say, like Garrett Adelstein, or you pick up a tell on, say, really odd would be somebody like Ivy, which I think would be sort of impossible, but you never know.
Unlikely. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he doesn't move his eyes at all. I don't even think his eyes move. They're just like wide open all the time.
Yeah.
If you were to pick up a tell on somebody who you consider like a really elite player, a Federer Holes, do you even,
Yeah.
do you obviously tell your client, but do you give a caveat that like he could be feeding us something? And the corollary to that would be like, do you know these other players are elite and they're watching your clients on video too, especially a guy like Garrett Adelstein who studied this shit like the Zapruder film. Do you ever say like,
Yeah.
do you ever like do a deconstruct where you say, listen, I watched all the same videos that somebody like Garrett is going to watch, and I have picked up on the fact that this is a tell of yours. Do you ever say, this is the point where we feed it to him? Does it get that deep?
Oh no, I mean.
Oh, come on! I should be getting the money then. All right, everybody, fire Zach Elwood, hire me. Jesus fucking Christ! Come on!
This ain't James Bond shit that I'm into. I'll be fully transparent. So I think there's a couple of things in there. It's like
Okay.
It's like what was I going to say? So first, I think. We're mainly focusing on the more recreational players who play regularly on stream, right?
Okay.
It's kind of the more skilled somebody is, as you said, like with Ivy, like the less likely it is you're going to find something that useful. I mean, we still look for those things, but
Right.
we just tend to focus on people who are more recreational. But it can also just be people who are more more behaviorally loose, like they do more
Right.
things, right?
Yes.
So like the more loose they are with their behavior, the more likely we are going to find something. So we kind of concentrate on those people. And then while we're doing that, we might look at, see if we see anything else along the way. But I also say too, it's like the idea that like, a good player would be setting anybody up would be unlikely because they would have to be doing all those things while they're playing other people on the stream. Right.
Right.
Because we're just watching, we're watching recorded streams. We're watching them like blind, or at least I'm watching them blind. I haven't seen them before, and I have the whole cards hidden.
Right.
But so they've already done these things. So and we're trying to get a sense of how things play out over time.
Right.
So it's not like they would have to be doing these, setting up some really elaborate trap by being imbalanced in many streams or something. So it's
Well, but
yeah. So if that answers your question, yeah.
I mean, just a slight, pushback or note. I don't know that this is true.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is true, by the way, because I think that some of these people are just gambling addicts and they're lying. But a lot of the splashier players on stream, not even a lot, basically all of them, will either hint or basically say the stream is an advertisement for the other 99% of the poker that I play. They say I play 1%.
Sure.
I play 1% of my poker on stream, and the rest of the time I'm in high stakes live games, high stakes private games. And for me to come on the stream and splash around or act like a fool gets me so much. Now, I don't necessarily believe this, by the way. I don't believe this for a second. I think in rare instances this might be true, but most of the time, based on everything I know about the people who are spazzes on stream, they're spazzes off stream. Like everybody I've ever played with at the Commerce when I used to play a lot, who was a spaz on stream was a spaz off stream. So, but I mean, I could see, like a Dan
You see the logic.
Yeah. Do you think that's happening? And if that's happening, why wouldn't it happen with feeding tells?
Well, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me because the things we're looking at are very subtle things. There's not like really obvious things we're noticing. It's like we're not finding any like, oh, this is we're not finding any like Oreo cookie tells. We're finding things that are like much more. We're finding things that are much more subtle, right?
Right.
And like they may be like 60-70% reliable, right? We're not finding like smoking gun kind of stuff. So just to say they're more subtle, and for that person to fake that kind of thing would require like an amount of planning and dedication that I just don't think, because A, they would have to be trying to do that and do such a subtle job of it, and B, they would have to know who was even studying them, like, and then C, some of those things are just common patterns anyway, so they may be like, theoretically somebody could be reading those things while they're on the stream, and these are just common tells anyway. They're just more subtle versions of them, right? So just to say like the amount of like planning just doesn't make sense to me, because I don't really see a clear way to make it pay off, because we're not talking like people like doing anything obvious here.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious though to you because you spent your life studying this. It's not obvious to some random.
Yeah, but I don't think. Do you think anyone's doing this besides me though? Maybe they are, but like I don't know how many people are. I would have thought I would have gotten more people contacting me. I think in general the tells are undervalued, because I'll say, I will say another consulting I was doing recently was for another high stakes player, and I have to keep all these names secret, but he plays real high stakes too, and we were discussing tells a few times, and he was saying like these things are really valuable in his opinion, even against really other strong players, just because they really undervalue some of the common patterns, right? Like, I think that's true.
Does his name rhyme with Hill Felmuth?
No, I can definitely rule out Phil Helmuth. I don't think he would like to talk to me. He blocked me for mocking him on social media a long time ago. So no.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Zach. Let me ask you this. This is a good question. Tell me about a time when you gave one of your clients a tell that to look for. They saw it in action and they won or didn't lose a massive amount of money, and you said to yourself, "That's right, motherfucker. I just earned my paycheck." Tell me about one of these times.
Yeah, so that has never happened.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! I'm trying so hard to get you business here. Jesus fucking Christ!
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Okay.
I will say that people have told me that, not in any one big pot, but people have definitely told me. Oh yeah, well, I should say people that I've consulted for have definitely told me that it has helped their game. Like they haven't. It's been in like multiple pots, because once you start cluing into some of this stuff, it's not like everything that we talk about is stuff that you can use against general players mostly.
Right.
So it's not like we're finding like things that would only be against one player. Usually the things we're talking about are things that are just like subtler versions of things that are true for a lot of people, and you just got to clue into it. Like I'll give you a good example, like hesitation.
Right.
Like I would say up there with the most valuable tells, and especially because it's lesser known, is the amount of time, like studying the amount of time people take to put like chips together for a bet, or the pause people will have when they announce bet or raise like a bet amount, and then actually put the chips in there.
Right.
Like that, the longer that pause is, and those kinds of like taking time to assemble a bet kinds of things, the more correlated that is with relaxation. So just to say, like, when we examine specific players, we're usually talking about these kinds of things that apply to a lot of players. And so that's why when people tell me the consulting has been worthwhile, it's not like they're like getting, soul reading a specific player. It's more like these are things that they start paying attention to in their everyday game, right? So that's why I say there's not like, and especially I'd say for the, especially for the WSOP consulting I did, that was like the final table. So we went in knowing that it was unlikely they were going to like use these tells. It was more like if they did get into a position to use anything we noticed, that's theoretically, a multi-million-dollar thing.
Right.
But, we knew it was unlikely going in that they would get in that spot, but it was just like covering a base because the stakes were so high. And for this recent player I've been consulting and another couple of players besides that in the past, I'll say that one guy I was telling you about, the second guy I was telling you about recently that I've been talking to, it's not like I'm consulting for him. It's more like we're discussing things because he's telling me just as many things as I'm telling him. And he's saying these things are just really valuable overall, not like, and he gave examples of it, with specific hands, but it's like, these are just things he's paying attention to and thinks are really valuable for like a general player pool, even against skilled players. So that's why it's hard to say, like, there's not like been some, major soul read where they're like, this one specific tell really like was responsible for, a big pot kind of thing.
I'm going to say something, and you can tell me I'm an idiot. I honestly feel like just because actually I'm not just going to postulate this. I know this is a fact because I had to watch so fucking much stream poker when I was a commentator on Live at the Bike. I picked up exact tells on people, like.
Oh, like player specific.
Just locked.
Player specific tells.
Yeah, locked in exact 100% tells. Just by watching somebody play 5 hours on stream over 5 different sessions, and then I wasn't even trying. It just was like, oh, this motherfucker, every fucking time he bluffs, he takes a deep breath. Just every time. I can even say the guy's, I can picture him right now. I'm not going to say his name, but I mean, like, I used it against him then in the cash games late. I shouldn't actually say this because this is something people say that is bad about poker commentators playing in the games. But fuck it, I'm retired now. I would just fucking go right down to the fucking game and sit in it.
Yeah.
And this tell was infallible. When he tried to run a bluff.
Do you think... what's your question? Sorry.
My question is, why doesn't anybody ever approach you? Because so much of this stuff is streamed, and these guys, like, let's say, there's these fucking guys that are on Hustler every week or on the Lodge or whatever. They're on these streams over and over and over again, and they throw around 1K chips like they're fucking chiclets. And why doesn't one of these guys just like say like, hey, Elwood, I'm going to toss you one of these fucking chiclets. I want you to watch Doug Polk for fucking 20 fucking hours. And I want you to get me a tell on him. I want you to, I'll toss you 10 chiclets. Just fucking, I think you could do it.
I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised too. Honestly, I think it's just because I don't promote myself very well, but I will say.
Oh, you're the worst at promoting yourself, by the way. Every single time.
No, but
every time I throw you a softball, you fucking strike out. You're like a fat chick on a softball team. You never fucking hit the ball. I throw you a softball. I'm like, tell me when you fucking got a guy $100,000 win or something. All you had to say was, hey, you know what?
And that's right.
You could have made something up.
I'll probably I'll think of things I could have said that would have promoted myself better after the call. I'm like, why didn't I say this?
Right.
But anyway, I was gonna say to your point though, I'm actually surprised that more people haven't contacted me because, like, for this example of this guy who plays in the high stakes cash games the first guy I was telling you about, we were examining a couple specific players that play on these streams, and
Right.
we found some pretty interesting things. And to your point, it was pretty player specific. I mean, some of it like mapped over to common, patterns, but it was quite specific where we did after we had watched a bunch of them on stream, I assembled a bunch of kind of like flashcard videos where the
Wait, Zach, can we call it a dossier? A dossier. I'm helping you now.
Yeah, kind of a dossier.
What? Go up to one of
and everything.
Go up to one of these douches and be like, hello, douche. I have put together a dossier on Feder holes. I have put together a physical action dossier on Feder holes. That's how you get the fucking money. Come on.
Yeah, wear a trench coat and some.
Yeah, you gotta have a dossier. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you go back to whatever thing you were saying that's not gonna make you a fucking dollar.
I was gonna say. To your point though about like when you said you noticed player specific tells, like the guy taking a breath. Isn't it possible some of those tells are just? I would imagine a lot of those tells were just kind of general tells, but that are common for a lot of people, like breathing deeply.
Right.
Bluffers hold their breath more and stuff.
Right.
So just to say some of the general tells are more common. You're gonna find them for some people more frequently than others. So that's why I think like even though for this example I just said where we were looking at this specific guy or two guys and we were talking about all this stuff, it's like a lot of that stuff he's going to use, or I know that these people that I consult for didn't use those kind of examinations when they play other people, and and a lot of it, like you say too, is like just watching specific players is like, what is this guy doing? Is he does he seem to have imbalances? Like, is he looking around more in some hands than others, or is he does he have a lot of movement with his chips? Does he riffle his chips differently? Like just basically looking for imbalances, and then like for a specific player, and then like seeing what you see over time. And if you play with them a good amount, or if they're on stream a good amount, you might find something. You won't always, like a lot of people are, a lot of the more skilled players are quite balanced,
right?
But you're looking for those times when they're imbalanced. Yeah.
So we got a lot of very, very important people in chat. We got DJ Mellow D in the chat. We've got Dustin, a professional poker player, a very well-known professional poker player. DJ Mellow D is a very well-known professional DJ, doesn't know shit about poker. Sorry, buddy. We got Grimmy, of course, is always in chat. Bankrupt Records, Lilliputian Petrodactyl. Anybody want to call in and ask a question of the Tells Master? Feel free. Phone lines are open, 516-259-9515. Kevin's in the chat. Warm Pie's in the chat. So many fucking people in the chat. Feel free to call in if you have a question. And I will. If not, I will continue the interrogation. Let's take a question here. GS, a question for Zachary Elwood.
Live poker's all about feels and tells, etc. I heard some hand history from the Unabomber Phil Locke. I don't remember whether he posted it on fucking 2+2 or if he wrote it in an article or told me at the poker table, but something about using the reptile part of the brain thrown him into making a light call one time. Do you know anything about this reptile part of the brain Locke was talking about? Or is that guy just on?
Well, no, I like Locke. I think that Locke's. I always enjoyed Locke's behavior. I thought he was pretty good at maintaining a fun atmosphere and being really fun verbally while being pretty hard to read, quite hard to read. But I don't know. He also talks about a lot of things, so I don't know specifically about the what he meant about the reptilian part of the brain, but maybe he meant that there was times you could get kind of a vibe about whether somebody was anxious or not, just from your.
Hey, Zach, can I help you? Can I help you here? Can I help you?
Sure.
Help me out. What Zach is saying is Phil Locke is completely full of shit, and he's a very, very good poker player, but he loves fucking with people, and he was fucking with you.
He does.
Adam,
He does
AJ, you're on with
he likes
Zach
to-
Elwood, the
likes to
Tells
throw out shit.
Master.
Oh, interesting. Tells Master. Okay, I like that.
I don't like that
New Age
nickname.
Mike Cairo.
Yeah,
Yeah, not New Age.
He's the new. When Mike Caro died, he took over the moniker. He literally went to Mike Caro's grave and pissed on it. I wasn't supposed to say that, but it happened.
Except Taro's still alive. He wouldn't like to hear this.
Oh well, he's dead to me. All right,
He's still alive.
AJ, a question.
Well, Tells, that's a very polarizing topic, the Tell topic. I don't know. One thing I could definitely say is somebody that's played full time for 20 years, like when I'm sitting around with all my friends who play for a living, I've never heard any of my friends be like, oh, well, so-and-so, he's not that good. His tell game isn't good. Like I said, never. Like, I've never heard any pro be like, oh, well, if he could move up in stakes, if he just could see him twist the Oreo a little better. Like, I don't know, just like, it's just, I don't know. I hate to, like, denounce the importance of tells. I think they're definitely important, but I feel like Joe Poker, like, vastly overstates it. I think, like, a lot of other things are, like, way more important.
I think it's true that they're both overstated and understated. I mean, there's clearly, I think a lot of high stakes players would disagree with you in the sense that there's value there, but I'm always careful to point out it's not nearly as important as strategy. I don't think anybody would argue with that either. But there's definitely, like, I mean, there's just so many powerful tells, and, like, I got, if you're curious about it, I'll send you a free access code to my video series, because I think you'd find that some of these things are just really obvious when you clue into them, especially for more recreational players.
I'm always willing to learn, so send it on over to @Comedic Gamble, and I'll enjoy digesting.
Wait,
what's
the app there? What is it?
Comedic Gamble is my social media, so like Instagram,
I'll look
Twitter,
for it,
or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah.
But I do think
like
you're right that I think many people do overvalue them, and I think but I also think a lot of people undervalue them.
I knew that.
The issue with it is too. It's like, how do you get better at it or learn it? Like, it's a lot easier to get better at, like, or learning, like, strategies or, like, certain stuff. But I don't know. I feel like tell that's, like, such a nebulous kind of, like, inexact world where it's, like, hard to know what's actionable. Like, how do you actually improve upon that? Like, how much of it's just kind of like an inborn instinct? Like, I don't know. It's an interesting topic for those reasons.
Hey, I knew this was going to be a great conversation between the two most polite people I know on the fucking planet. Like,
we can't all be like you.
I never hear, like, pros talk about that. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's like some unspoken thing, but yeah, like, I've never ever really heard. It's usually like, oh, this guy doesn't take enough shots, or he takes too many shots, or oh, he's.
But Adam, I'm gonna help you out.
I never hear pros talk about, like, yeah.
I'm gonna help you out. Listen to me, Adam. I'm gonna help you right now.
Yeah.
Help me. I can give away this tell. It doesn't matter anymore to me because I don't go to the casino anymore. The big, loud Indian, sometimes ponytail. I don't want to say his name. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know that he has like a stone 100% bluff tell.
I believe it.
I'll give it to. I shouldn't say it right now, but I'm going to say it, and maybe because he's not listening to this.
He doesn't play in open public games, really, does he?
He's mostly playing private, and he's mostly playing in Dubai. Yeah. But when he shows up, this could be worth a decent amount of money. I made so much fucking money on this tell. Okay, and this is like,
all right.
And you and I played with him probably the same amount of time over the years. So this is just a little thing, like, where, like, by whatever reason I picked this up, and other professional poker players never picked it up, and I would see them do things that were so fucking wrong because they didn't realize that he was doing this one little thing. And actually, the only reason I realized he was doing this thing is because one time he had a cold. When he bluffs or is nervous, he only breathes through his nose. Only. And it's audible.
Okay.
I'm not fucking joking. And the next time you play with him, you will be in a big hand where you're not sure what to do because he made a big bet on the end. He's acting like a spaz. Him and fucking his goofy friends who showed up with him, they're all acting like spazzes. I don't have any tells on the other ones, by the way. I don't have any tells on the doctor. You don't need any tells on the doctor. The doctor just fucking flushes all his money down the drain without looking at his hand. You're gonna be in a big hand with him, and you're gonna have a big decision on the end in Pot Limit Omaha, and you're gonna hear a nose whistle, a little nose whistle. You know about nose whistle? And
This is a great tell. I love it.
And when you hear that little bit of a nose whistle, the sound of the air just rushing past the fucking hairs in his nostrils, the little nose whistle, it's going to be like a fucking steam train hit you between the eyes because you're going to remember this moment and you're going to be like, holy fucking shit, he's bluffing. And you're going to snap him off for $4,000 on the end with fucking nothing. Okay? And
I love it.
And then
I hope I get to play with them.
Then you're gonna buy me a pizza down at Secret Pizza.
You fucking got it. You got it.
All right, thanks, Adam. Thanks for calling in, brother. Anything else?
And then moves. Fuck, I don't think so. I'm just making this my new habit to call in on my commute to the casinos. So
hey, I love it.
Enjoy it.
It's
I appreciate
definitely
your skepticism. It's good to be skeptical of these things.
it's 100%.
I'm a skeptical asshole.
It's definitely not your it's definitely not your worst habit, Adam. Thank you so much.
All right, Dave.
I'll
Peace.
talk to you later. All right, there he goes.
All right.
Comedic gamble, Adam Johnson. World famous poker player, cash game player. You know who we need? Mr. Hoff's in the chat. We need Mellow D to call in. Mellow D is sitting over at, I think he's sitting at Hawaiian Gardens in a game right now. Let's see. We got another call here. Let's take this one. Who's this? 5. Oh, I hung up on Zach? Oh, Zach, did I hang up on you on accident?
No, I hit a button on my phone accidentally. My fault.
All right, you're back.
Yeah.
So let's go over some let's call this a conversation of, at this point, of tells you can use. Okay, I want to you give out some. I know that you're very self-deprecating and very humble, but you have given out some extremely powerful tells in the past, tells that truthfully I only thought I knew, and that's why I was so impressed by some of your stuff. In some of your tells that delved into the world of speech play. Can you give us some offensive speech play that a player could use to get the result they want, either having their opponent fold or they're having their opponent call, and some defensive speech play, things they should look for their opponent saying that would help them lean to a fold or lean to a call? Obviously, you don't need to fucking say that these aren't 100%. They only need to be 55% to be valuable. So some good offensive and defensive speech play.
Well, do you want me to talk about that whole weak hand statement thing when players weaken their range verbally, that kind of thing, as a major tell?
That's a great one.
Yeah, I can.
But you could. I'd be more than happy to hear a different one.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of a good. I'm having a hard time off the cuff thinking of the most useful or really good, manipulative offensive one, because I think that can be hard to do. But let's talk first about the weak hand statement one, which I think you and I have talked a good amount about before. So basically, long story short, for people who don't know this, the idea is that when somebody making a significant bet, especially farther in, like on the turn of the river, a large bet, when they when they weaken their range a bit, that is very when they weaken the range verbally, like they say something like, "I don't have X hand, X strong hand,"
Right.
or they say it more directly, where they're like, "Oh, I didn't think you had anything," implying that they didn't have much to bet. These kinds of direct and indirect hand weakening statements.
Right.
That's pretty highly correlated to them being relaxed, because bluffers don't want to remove strong hands from their range, and that's quite a valuable tell. Like, it actually, in the process of writing verbal poker tells, I went into the process of writing that book thinking I knew what I was going to say, but then like the more I studied these statements, I was like, oh, this is like a whole class of direct and indirect statements that are really highly correlated to people being relaxed. And the interesting thing about that one specifically is you can often get people with strong hands to weaken their range voluntarily, especially on the river where it's obvious you're either calling or folding. You can often get them to give you a weak hand statement, or they'll be silent, which doesn't mean much on its own. But often if they give you a weak hand statement, you can fold comfortably. So if you ask them something like, "Oh, do you have X hand where X is like some decent but medium strength hand, like trips or something or whatever," sometimes the player with a strong hand is so relaxed and they have an incentive to try to remove. There can be a psychological incentive to try to remove strong hands from their range. So a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh no, I don't have that hand." Especially we're talking more recreational players here. They're like, because in their minds they're thinking like, "Oh, if I remove this hand he's scared about, maybe he'll call, right?"
Right.
So they'll often have this incentive to be like, "No, I swear I don't have that specific hand." But by removing that hand, they've shown that they're relaxed, because a bluffer wants to keep all the strong hands usually in their range, right?
Right.
There's exceptions to that where a bluffer might try to subtly, voluntarily remove a very strong hand to imply that they're strong, where they'll be like, "I swear I don't have quads." That's like a subclass of the kind of more deceptive elements to it. But by and large, like when players remove strong hands from their range verbally, they're usually quite relaxed. So that led into I think that was a very interesting thing for people that read my book, because I think it led to a lot of people asking those kinds of questions on the river and stuff, on those kinds of bets, and getting information from it, right? It's not like you're always going to get them to answer, because a lot of times people don't answer. But sometimes when they do answer, you can fold comfortably in a spot you might not otherwise have.
Let me ask you this. If I made a big bet on the end into you, and then you were thinking about what to do, and then you said, "Hey, Lyman, do you got it?" And then my answer was, "Sorry, John, I can't remember." Do you think that that's something I should say or I shouldn't say? Would you soul read me at that point for making one of my favorite Rounders jokes?
Well, yeah. What is it? Sorry, John, I can't remember.
Sorry, John. Johnny Chan says, "Did you have it?" And then Mike McDermott says, "Sorry, John, I can't remember."
Yeah. Wasn't that a crazy hand too, where it was like a limit game? And
Yes.
It was and they're 4-betting pre-flop
Yeah.
or something. That was ridiculous.
It was the world's world's dumbest hand to be in the middle of a movie which was 100% about No Limit. The entire fucking movie is about No Limit Hold'em.
Yeah.
And then the big hand with Johnny Chan, they don't ever say it, but the big hand with Johnny Chan, they're playing Limit Hold'em.
I know that I was always perplexed by that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Why'd they do that?
All right, we got.
You might.
So you
Actually, real quick, Lyman, real quick.
Yeah.
You might find this interesting. This might be actually an interesting topic for another show, but
right.
I don't know if you ever saw the blog post I wrote about the tells and rounders, and I put it in Verbal Poker Tells too.
Yeah,
about
I did see that.
Kind of the unintentional tells and rounders.
Yes.
And I interviewed Brian Koppelman, the co-creator of Rounders,
right,
for my podcast, and we talked about that stuff, and it was really interesting because he kind of like denied that those were unintentional tells of like things that, you know, showing tells that a more recreational player would have, which is what I thought they were. He kind of, you know, looked down on my idea, and I like Brian Kellerman a lot. I think it was really interesting because he was kind of like defending the inclusion of these things, which to me were just like recreational tells from players who were more experienced in that, and you would see them from, right?
Right.
So it was just an interesting conversation. Maybe it might be. I'll have to send you that later. You might find it interesting to talk.
No, I actually think I read or saw that. I read, this is a long time ago you did this, right?
Well, no, I only had the conversation with Brian Koppelman like a year and a half ago or something, you know, and he pushed back much more than I thought he would on my analysis of like, hey, these are kind of like, you know, common, very first level tells from recreational players you'll find, you know, like, you know, basically for people listening, it's like Matt Damon, McDermott's character basically like saying like, you know, implying weakness when he's strong and implying strength when he's weakness.
Right.
Kind of like very superficially, you know, for weakening strong meaning weak, verbal tells and stuff that I specifically talk about in my book. Very good examples of the things I talk about in verbal poker tells. And he was kind of defending it, saying like, oh no, I think these are kind of things we saw happen in games by really experienced players. And I was kind of like, I don't think that's really true.
If I were him, I would have just blamed it on the actors. I'd have been like, these actors don't know fucking shit.
they ad-libbed. I didn't even write that. Yeah, they were
exactly.
Just ad-libbed. No, I'm just kidding.
Arian, you're on with Zach Elwood, supposed tells master.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, I'm actually glad. I've actually loved Zach's work for the many years. All his YouTube videos and stuff, his breakdowns were pretty good when he would chime in.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I'm glad to get him on. Yeah. I actually had a question regarding, now that you were talking about it. I had just one quick hand. I mean, I honestly hate breaking hands down, but it kind of goes on the topic of like forward motion and angle shooting and like knowing what room you're in. Have you ever experienced like based on, because I don't know, every room in California basically has different rules about when you're pushing a stack out. I have you seen guys like pull their stacks back or until like it gets released? I've even heard like World Series of Poker House controversies regarding this. Like, has either you or Limon actually experienced anything like this where you've seen some kind of drama happen at a poker table in which, you know, stacks are pushed forward, you get an announcement of action like I call, and the guy will pull his chips back and say, I haven't bet yet. Like, well, what's your take on this?
I mean, Lyman, you'd have a better take on this because you've played a lot more than me. I've never personally seen such kinds of things. I mean, maybe like once or twice, but nothing really stands out as anything being common like that. But I mostly played in. Not only
is this common in Los Angeles.
No, this is extremely common.
Yes,
this is very common in Big 101.
In Los
Is it a
Angeles,
California thing?
in Los Angeles poker, if you're from Iran, Iraq, Israel, Turkey, I mean, I don't know how many fucking other countries are in that fucking area. If you're from any of these fucking countries and you're over the age of 55, it's not only common, it's literally fucking mandatory. It's mandatory that you fuck with your chips before you like either make a bet or don't make a bet and then cause all kinds of trouble for the floor man. Now, the thing that I'm going to tell Arian that he's not going to like is the way that the floor makes decisions on this stuff is strictly by who tips the most, in my experience. Big tipping, Persians, Armenians, Israelis, big tippers, get the fucking ruling 100% of the time, even though they've flat out 100% angle shot you. And small tippers and stiffs never get the ruling. They say, yo, you do this every day, your hand's dead. Like, I've seen them just flat out kill dudes' hands. And that's because floor men have a lot of power to interpret situations, and their interpretation, for the most part, is based entirely on tips. Let me tell a story. This is an interesting story you guys might like. I'm playing with one of the most famous sort of like Armenian whales in all of Los Angeles. This is probably 2009, 2008, 2010, right in that area. We're playing 10-20 no limit hold'em. This guy, everybody knows this guy. Every fucking single person listening to this right now knows this person if they've even played in Southern California once. This person is a fucking legend. He owns like half of fucking Glendale. All right? People are starting to know who I'm talking about, okay? He's probably 79 now, maybe 80. So that makes him 69 or 70 at the time, maybe 65. I don't know. He's a piece of work. He gets thrown out of the casino all the time. I have a million stories about this guy. I love to play with him, and he loves me. We love each other on a I know how to handle fish level. Everyone else hates him, despises him. People try to get him thrown out of the casino, including professional poker players. They're fucking so dumb. But anyway, this is how much I love him, okay? And how many things he's paid for of mine. We're playing 10-20 no limit. And he has taken his $100 chips and stacked them up like a giant penis, okay? So it's like $6,000 worth of chips is the fucking shaft, the cock. 1,000 on each side is the balls, okay? So,
Right.
so he's got a $6,000 shaft, $1,000 balls. I have a Loctite tell on this guy. This is another tell. This is another tell hand. So that's actually more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I have a fucking Loctite fucking tell on this guy. We get to the end, okay? He had been betting. His penis is getting smaller and smaller because he's betting, but it's still a long penis. Very tall. And then on the end, I know 100% that he's fucking bluffing. And because I have a fucking Loctite tell on him, the Loctite tell is he talks a whole bunch when he's bluffing. And it's not just any kind of talking. It's a very specific type of talking. It's a type of talking where he alludes to the fact that he doesn't give a shit about money, okay? He likes to say things like, you might cry about this amount of money, but I do not cry about this amount of money. Is this a lot of money to you? But it's not a lot of money to me. And that's actually true. It's all true. But it means he's bluffing, okay? So on the end, he acts first, and he starts pushing the giant fucking penis in a little bit. He might have only pushed it a half of an inch. But you know that when you've got 60, 70 chips stacked in a column, that stack of chips is at least, 9 inches high or something. There's no structural stability. So when he started pushing it forward, even though he only pushed it like a half inch or so, it all toppled over straight forward and
Fell into the pot. Fell into the middle.
It fell into the middle. At least $2,000 of the $6,000 of his shaft, of his member, fell right into the middle of the pot. So I just say, I call and flip my hand.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
He says, I was not betting. That was not a bet. There was no. All fucking hell breaks loose. I'm in a fucking a fucking bazaar in fucking Timbuktu. All of a sudden, there was no bet. I was not betting. It was not a bet. I did not bet. We fucking call the fucking floor man over. The fucking floor man is one of his countrymen who gets a fucking white chip in the fucking pocket in Los Angeles. That's a $100 chip. And the floor man looks at me, who he does not like. I am not a big tipper. He looks over at the other guy, at the other gentleman, and he says,
Oh boy.
he just looks me straight in the eye and says, "Sorry, Abe, that's not a bet."
Oh.
He says, "It's your action, sir," and he lets the fucking guy fold his hand. So, like, now, that's a whole story, and I know that a lot of people, if that would have happened to them, they would be on fucking Reddit right now going like, "I got angle shot by a scummy fucking dude. Oh, fuck live poker. Fuck casinos. Fuck Los Angeles. It's the worst place on earth. It's worse than Auschwitz. Oh, this doesn't, this doesn't happen online. Oh my God.
You accept it as part of the game.
It's soul yeah, they would be typing right now. It's soul draining. All these fucking Reddit fucking morons, these fucking scumbag dipshits who root poker. All I said was, "Hey, I'm not going to say the guy's name. I'll say his initials right now. Hey, PP, do you call?" I just said it as a joke. Of course he's not fucking calling. And he just mucks his hand, and I collect the tiny pot that was $6,000 fucking dollars, 7,000 counting the balls, 7,000 counting the fucking balls, less than what I should have gotten. But guess what? That's fucking $7,000 means nothing if you're a real professional poker player, which ostensibly I am, because this motherfucker probably lost $500,000 to me over time. It just is what it is. And you know what? This guy's fucking super rich. Not a little bit rich, super rich. And he knew what I knew that he fucking called. And from that day forward, I had the most intense respect from him that you can possibly have from an 80-year-old Armenian guy. And he gave me sick action. He would even tell me I shouldn't call right here, but I'm going to give you action because you deserve it, and call me with a gut shot or something. And that's like,
Right,
that's,
you kept the wheels lubricated, whereas some people would the more you protest in that spot, the more he's not going to give you the action, right?
exactly. And not only is he not, he won't even play with you. Like, he gets on the, if a Euro sits at his table, he will just fucking get on the table change list. And it's not like it's not like getting on the table change list at a casino with two tables. The Commerce has 50 fucking tables going. The floor just moves him immediately. Like, he just gets whisked away to another table. It's good to be friends with these guys, and losing one pot, you just have to fucking, it's not the end of the world. I don't know if this answered any of your questions, Ariane, but I like to tell the story.
Well, to that original question, it's like, if you know people are going to try to angle you with that kind of like forward motion thing, it's so easy to combat that, because then you just try to give a reaction that'll, basically give them a false tell,
right,
of whatever sort. And, that's good when you can see that coming and you know that they're going to try to do that, because then you can just reverse it. It might only work once or twice, but, you can still do it.
One of the most famous examples, I think, of this, I mean, I don't know if Limon was still around for Live at the Bike when Armenian Mike made that really famous angle shoot against Ryan Felt. Well, not angle, I don't want to call it angle shoot, but maybe it is, when he slipped the rack of white chips forward for $10,000 in a pot that was
Right.
maybe $800, $900, and Ryan snapped him off of the nuts. And then he says, I didn't bet, it was a joke bet. I mean, it's like, as Limon says, it's something very, very common among certain demographics, but definitely something that you see in California, Los Angeles, the Bay Area, that people will push if they can think they can run a fast one on you.
Yes, that's actually, Arian, that's actually a very good point. The thing with Feldman was so fucking outlandish. And here's the thing with the Feldman thing. Armenian Mike did what Armenians do a lot of times. It's this like, I didn't mean to do it. I wasn't actually betting thing. And it worked really good in my situation because there was plausible deniability. Because the stack was super tall and he'd only slid it a half inch. And it's not on fucking videotape. Nobody can rewatch it. In the Feldman situation, it was just so egregious and so insane that what Armenian Mike was doing there wasn't even an angle. It was a power play. He was trying to say to Feldman at that point, if you don't fucking let me out of this, not only am I never going to play in this game again, nobody who I have access to is ever going to play in this game again. And it did end up being like sort of a dick waving match. Feldman, though, and you could see that Feldman was thinking about this. Feldman was doing the calculations. When Armenian Mike took that bet back, Feldman didn't say, you owe me the fucking money. Put that fucking money back in the pot, you fucking slimy motherfucker. Feldman was fucking, there was like the little hamster was on the wheel in his head because he knows that he makes the majority of his money from the show, not from playing poker. He doesn't make shit money from playing poker. So the little wheel was spinning. The person that bailed him out, if I remember correctly, in that hand was Garrett Adelstein. Garrett Adelstein said, that money's in the pot, right? Am I right, Arian?
It was basically like that. Well, one thing that tripped me out was they actually had the floor come over to make a decision, and then the floor kind of, based on relationship with Armenian Mike and Ryan, was like, I'm going to let you guys decide, which is, I think happens a little bit more in the high stakes where there's a little more self-governance.
Well,
where they let the players kind of.
It's also because it's on It's also because it's on camera too. Like everybody's afraid of fucking up on camera, and the problem with that game in a lot of games that Ryan runs, and this isn't a problem, but the problem for the floor is they have a lot of side relationships, they have a lot of side betting, and they have a lot of side games. So when the floor walks into something like that, they're like, does this have something to do with a 7 deuce game? Is this a bounty? Were you guys betting on the basketball game? They don't know what the fuck they're walking into because they're not walking into a regular game where nobody's betting on anything else. Like the floor's like, did you loan him that money? They might, because people are loaning each other money. They're making side bets. There's 7 deuce games. There's stand-up games. There's fucking all kinds of side action going on. There's bounties. The floor man, when the floor man walks into that, they're fucking scared shitless. They're scared out of their mind. But if I remember right, and maybe, here we got a call here. Maybe Adam can help me. If I remember right,
Or so.
Adam, are you calling about that hand with Armenian Mike?
No, I'm calling because like everything you're saying, I'm just like so passionate about because something happened at Hustler last week where some freaking Euro passport fucking reg thought he was getting angled by some Asian wreck fish guy, and the Asian wreck fish guy ended up leaving because he was like embarrassed by how these dumb fucking regs made him feel like he fucking angled. It was the most ridiculous thing. This guy bet like $1,200 on the river. This kid from like Hungary or whatever, and it's on this Asian wreck guy I've never seen. He's thinking for a while. I don't know what happened. Somehow he turns his hand face up. I don't know if he didn't know the action, who it was on, or what.
Right.
And then everybody's like, there's a bet, sir. And then the guy like thinks for a while, and then he just like randomly, he just calls on a board with like a bunch of straights. He has like 2 pair of set. The Euro is bluffing. The guy's good. And then the Euro, these other pros go, oh, floor, he angled. He exposed his hand. Is his hand live? And I'm just like, how could he be angling? The Euro pro never exposed his hand. Like he could have had it. Like how is he angling when he doesn't know? It'd be one thing if like the Euro exposed his hand and now the guy's like some like informational advantage, but it was just like, and then the guy left. The guy left because I think he was just like so embarrassed by like 2 or 3 people like made him feel like shit for like turning his hand face up. And then
You also
yeah, I was just like, what is going on? Like,
you also
you want to play. First off, you want to play in a game where you can get angled. You don't
Yeah.
want to play in a game where nobody angles. Like, you want to be in a game where people are fucking angling. You know who doesn't angle? Fucking good players. Like,
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah
You
no
don't want to play in a fast game. You want to play in a slow game. Like, you want to, like, it's just like people don't get
It's a
these
great
things.
game
I just
when,
don't.
when they're trying such things. Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, like, you don't want a fast game. You don't want a game where nobody's pulling shit. It's just like, I don't know.
Well,
People just like don't understand. It's so weird.
Adam, I hope I mean I don't know you don't have to do this, but I mean I know you've probably seen me do this in the past. You need to come to the aid of the fish. You got to take.
I was, yeah, I did.
Okay.
I think I pissed some people off. I go, how can you be angling when you doesn't know what you fucking have? Because a
Good.
similar thing happened up here a couple of weeks ago where a fish went all in for like 800 and like an 11K pot on the river. It's on Trinidad, who has like a pure bluff catcher, and Trinidad's doing the whole speech play. Like, he said, I think I should fold.
Right.
And as soon as Trinidad said, I think I should fold, the wreck just snapped, turned over his hand. He had like a busted hand. And then Trinidad's, well, wait, I've never made a decision.
Right.
And then Trinidad had like, we're playing PLO. It's like 9, 7, 4,
Right.
4, and then like a queen. So and there's a flush draw on the flop. So
Right.
he had like ace 9 on 9, 7, 4 with 2 spades. Turn 4 pairs the board, and then the river's like an offsuit queen. And so Trinidad has like a pretty good bluff catcher. He's got, he flop top pair, flush draw brick. He's getting a huge price, like 800 and a 6K. And now people were making Trinidad feel like a scumbag for calling,
Right.
because they were saying like, oh, you took advantage of the fish. So then like he got villainized. But like that's a different situation because like the guy that bet exposed his hand. Like in this situation, the Euro that bet, his hand was not exposed. So it's like, I was just really confused as to how they were like saying that I don't know. Cause like I guess they're saying like the guy bet 1200, like a minute and a half had passed. He had to have known it was a bet. So the fact that he exposed his hand, he was trying to like, I don't know. I guess he thought he was like trying to get a read off of him.
It doesn't matter.
Like, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I was so mad. I was so pissed. I defended the guy, and then the guy ended up leaving. And then the guy's like, "Oh, I bet he left because he was afraid if they went to video or something." I'm like, "What's the video? What is this?"
You
And
can't.
that's all Sunday. Like,
Well,
you
here's
had
the
to
thing.
expose your hand. You could have had him, and then you would fucking be happy as fuck. You called. So like, shut the fuck.
How do you angle acting in turn? He was acting in turn. Like what fucking kind of angle is that? I mean, now Trinidad's a different animal.
Trinidad thing was different because he said fold. Like Trinidad did the speech play, and when he said the word fold, he kind of triggered a misstep from a wreck.
Well,
like,
no.
At least in that situation, like the wreck had turned his hand face up. So then when he called, they're like, "Oh, you took advantage of the wreck," which I don't. But yeah, 2 interesting scenarios that I've seen where somebody prematurely exposed their hand. But I guess the Asian wreck didn't prematurely expose his hand. It was like a heads-up pot. He was like closing the action was on him, but he was confused, I guess, on the action. I don't know. It was a 2 weird scenarios.
As much as Trinidad is annoying as fuck, and he's one of the most annoying people in the history of fucking LA poker, he is a very smart poker player. He's very smart. He's very smart. He's very shifty. He's very cagey, and he's seen it all and he's done it all. I don't have
his strength. He's like a high intensity player for sure.
I don't have any problem with what Trinidad did. The thing is, and this is I'll say to anybody on the
See, the host of the game was saying like you just got to die on your sword, fold, let the fish live, play the long game. That's kind of what some of the people were saying in the game, like you shouldn't have called, even though, like, which I don't know. But some people were saying you should have folded and let the fish live, and don't quote unquote take advantage of the fish turning his hand face up.
I don't.
Whatever.
But the thing is, here's the thing: did the fish believe that Trinidad had folded? He really believed that?
I mean, it was a weird. As soon as he said the word fold, he turned his hand face up. So I think, like, I don't know if he just like heard the word fold, or maybe the fish was doing some high level fucking like angle where he was like using like some plausible deniability of I heard the word fold. So now if I can turn my face up, hand face up, maybe I can get like a cheap showdown or something. I don't know. I'm trying to like. But I don't think he did that maliciously. I think he just heard the word fold and fucking jizz exposed.
He wanted the guy. Yeah, you're right. He jizz exposed. that he prematurely ejaculated in his fucking undies because he wanted to show Trinidad a bluff, okay? But the truth, because he probably thinks Trinidad's annoying as fuck too. Everybody thinks Trinidad's annoying as fuck. But
I forgot another side example in this. Somebody was all in too. There's like a limit like tracker that was in the game, and he was already all in. So he was trying to angle that Trinidad, because he obviously wants Trinidad to fold, so that way he's playing against the bluffer heads up for the pot versus Trinidad. So it was funny having like a third party in here, like this limit guy was like. He was like, well, I don't want that to be because I have an interest in the pot. So there's a funny having these like three different interests, like the shorty that was already all in, the fish that fucking pre-jizz exposed that led 800 into 6K, Trinidad, who now is like forced with this moral dilemma of, do I call this bet where I know I'm winning, or it was an interesting social dynamic, little three-way live pot. But yeah.
Well, here's my guess. This is my guess on the situation. My guess on the situation is Trinidad was going to call no matter what. He just wanted some confirmation. So, and this is an interesting
That's what I
topic.
try to tell people. People say he angled. I go, he didn't angle. I think it was like truly 50-50. Like he's getting a sick price. Like I was like, in my mind, I was like, honestly, I think it's 50-50 if he would have called it out. Some people are like, oh, Trinidad fucking angled him. I'm like, you guys are no.
Here's the thing. I think that Trinidad used speech play, and I think that Trinidad did what is known by all old school professional poker players as a pump fake. So Trinidad verbally pump faked the guy, and he got the guy to bite on the pump fake. And I can't be mad about it because I've done it 1,000 times. And we can ask Zach about this, about what he thinks about it. But I mean, one of the absolute fucking best ways to get a tell from your opponent, or to have your opponent do something insanely stupid like flip their hand, is to pump fake them. And you can do a literal pump fake where you got the two cards between your index finger and your middle finger, and you actually snap your fucking wrist like the fucking cards going in the muck, but the cards never leave your fingers. You can do that, which is really fucking dicey. Or you can do a verbal pump fake. And there's two kinds of verbal pump fakes. And Trinidad used the fold pump fake. With the fold pump fake is basically saying, I can't win. I have to fold. You just say the word fold very prominently. Then there's the call pump fake, where when you say, I really, really have to fold right here, and then the person fucking is like a statue. I'm giving like some really good fucking information right now. I don't know if I should, but if you give the fold pump fake, and Trinidad knows all this because I fucking think the guy's annoying as fuck, but he is not a bad poker player, and I know that he will take this.
Well, this is how people end up disliking him, because he always is fishing for these little things.
Yes.
He always gets in these controversial situations. This is kind of like a part and parcel why he's kind of polarizing by people, because he's always in these like controversial situations, because he's doing these things kind of on the gray area, trying to get people to like misstep, and then when they do misstep, then it causes like a floor situation. Well, he's just like, it's like part of his game in a way.
Well, it's because he's not likable. That's the reason. He's sort of, he's like a little gnat. He's so fucking annoying. He's always pushing and pushing and pushing and scratching and scratching and scratching. He's like a little fucking insect that's like always fucking scratching and scratching and scratching and pushing and pushing and pushing. He's not a likable person, and that's why when he does speech play, which and again, Trinidad, you'll hear this, I'm not disparaging you as a poker player. You're a very good poker player. You're a winning poker player. You have my respect as a poker player. But as a human, you're literally fucking annoying as shit. Like, if I sat Trinidad at an empty table, I would probably have to pay each player $1,000 to sit with him. Like, nobody would sit with him. He's not a draw. He's very unlikable. He's very fucking annoying. He is also a very good old school poker player, and he understands all of this shit. So like when you pump fake, you look to see what your opponent's reaction is. Because if your opponent does not want you to do the thing that you're pump faking, they sit perfectly fucking still. So your opponent will try to, if your opponent is unsophisticated, they're going to try to get you to stop doing the thing that you're about to do if they don't want you to do that thing. So you can give them a physical pump fake or a verbal pump fake, and then you just look for them to flinch. And unsophisticated players flinch all the fucking time in these spots, and they flinch in games that are much, much bigger than anyone ever fucking imagined. People think like, well, yeah, that happens at $1, $2, but that doesn't happen in a game where the bet's $5,000. It absolutely fucking happens in the game where the bet's $5,000. So like, what you do is you pump fake the person. You see if the person bites on the pump fake. If the person bites on the pump fake, then that means that they do not want you to do that thing. Then you could just do the opposite thing. Now, if the person is a complete fucking fish, I guess they just turn their hand over. Now, that could have been a level on top of a level. And here's the reason why that could, and this is why I'm not holding this against Trinidad. I think Trinidad did the right thing. I'm not holding it against him, even though he's annoying as fuck.
He ended up calling and winning the pot. He ended up calling, winning the pot, and then now he has like a bit of a stigma from people that are like, "Oh, you took advantage of a huge wreck or whatever." Which, but
the thing is,
interesting scenario.
His stigma shouldn't be for that. His stigma should be because he's annoying as fuck. That should be the stigma. Listen. When the wreck, are you saying? Did you accidentally say the wreck was Ark?
Ark? No. No, I didn't say Ark or no.
Because if it was Ark, that was 100% a fucking attempt at some sort of re-angle.
No, I wasn't. Not that person. No.
Because
one last thing. My game's about to start. So one last thing I want to ask is so whenever this gambling bill gets reversed, we're gonna give Trump a lot of credit for that, right?
Listen.
He's gonna get all the credit for reversing it, right? When he reverses the tariffs, he's gonna get all the credit for that.
Yeah, that's what he does. He causes a huge problem, and then he reverses it, and then he's a hero. Yes, absolutely.
Genius.
You know what? At this point, him being a backtracking pile of shit is the best we can hope for.
I hear you. All right, Dave. I'll talk to you later, dog.
Take it easy. No,
I'm in.
There you go. He's in.
He's in.
Limon, Zach. Zach's still here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, one quick question before I hop off. I'll let someone else. What is your opinion on calling the clock? If not by people who are watching the hand, about people who do you ever utilize calling the clock to either induce a fold or a call? Is that something you use in your arsenal? And if so, what is usually the result? And when you subsequently see other players doing it, of the person who's actually in the hand forcing the action when they're calling the clock, do you see that as a sign of strength or weakness in general for you and for other people? And what does the action accomplish? What are you trying to get it to accomplish?
Well, in general, I'll first start with what I see as the general meaning of it. I think in general, like if somebody is taking a while and the person who had bet made a significant bet, if they call the clock on that person, that in general that indicates relaxation, because usually bluffers won't want to agitate their opponent, right? So that's a class of tells related to like bluffers being less unlikely to irritate, want to agitate their opponents. So that's the general meaning. But I also in my book, I think it was in Verbal Poker Tells, I talked about how, because I think it's a more superficially obvious tell, like why that's a tell. I think most people can understand that. So I think the more obvious tells are also the ones that are more prone to being used as reverse tells. So in verbal poker tells, I talked about how I'd seen some high stakes players who were playing other, serious players playing serious players use it as a reverse tell, because the more obvious and known tells are going to be the ones that people try to use for reverse tells more often, right? So I included at least one example of a serious player calling the clock in a spot where they were bluffing, which I think was an example of them trying to use it as a reverse tell. Now, that's the general meaning. Your question about using it in a manipulative, reverse tell fashion. I was talking about this earlier with Limon. I tend to be pretty hesitant to use false tells, because I think if you're playing against people who know you're decent and you think they're decent, it becomes this leveling war of like, if you do something kind of obviously known to have a general meaning, it becomes this weird leveling war where it could go many different directions, and it's kind of like hard to predict how it will go, right? So, but I do think, what I was saying to Lyman earlier, I do think if you're in a spot where like you think somebody's quite good and they think you're kind of fishy, recreational, that might be a spot where I might try to do something where, I call the clock on them when I'm bluffing or something, right? To try to communicate that the common meaning of like, oh, I'm relaxed. He probably wouldn't be calling the clock on me, if he was bluffing, that kind of thing.
Zach,
but in general, I don't use false tells too often.
Can I help you? I'll help you out a little bit here. Zach is right.
Sure.
Zach is right. If it's 7:02, I'm going to bring you on 1 second. Just hold on. Zach is right.
Thanks for the breakdown, guys.
No, but I'm going to tell you something, Arian. In general, when a person calls the clock, it's a reverse tell. In general, but we're talking a very, 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 very small difference here. Like, it's a reverse tell maybe 58% of the time, and it shows that they're weak 58% of the time. It shows they're strong 42%. It's very close. For you to glean, because I've dealt with this for so many fucking years. For you to glean anything from the calling the clock tell, you need to know what the person is like, okay? You need to know just one little thing about them. If you've ever seen the person give off a tell in their life, and I don't care how stupid that tell was, like fucking the shrug bet tell, dumbest tells, right? The I grab my stack of chips when you're about to bet tell. These are the dumbest tells known to mankind, right? So like, if you've ever seen somebody do a tell, even if it's the dumbest tell known to mankind, anytime they call clock on you, they're bluffing. Anytime, 100%. But if you've never, ever, ever seen them do any fucking type of tell, like they don't consider themselves a tells master. They don't consider themselves smart in any way about tells. They've never talked about tells. In any conversation about tells, they've never chimed in. Then you just take it at face value. If you just do those...
To clarify on that,
yeah.
Lyman, are you saying... You're saying that you've seen them do something kind of like tricky and deceptive. Like that's still a tell.
Yeah.
They're probably trying to fake you out. Yeah.
If they've ever done anything deceptive in their whole life, even if it's moronically fucking stupid, when they call clock on you, they are weak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They're like they're the type of person that's trying to reverse the common meaning.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's for the exact reason you said, Zach. It's for the exact reason you said. It's because it's so fucking obvious. It's just so obvious. Right. It's so dumb. It's just so dumb. Right. You have to be dealing with a semi-moron, and that might sound like a small sliver of the population, but it's not. It's a large sliver of the population. Okay, next call. Yeah. 702.
Yeah.
You're on Pokersesh.
Hey, guys.
562.
Hey, guys. It's not
yeah, 702, Las Vegas. 562, you're on next. Las Vegas, what's up?
Okay. Hey, guys. It's good to have Pokersesh back, and I want to thank you for the content tonight.
Thank you.
Because I was deep into the December doldrums because I was worried about how in the world am I going to get the GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip? And before I listened, my choices were maybe astrology, maybe I'll look at some charts, or I'll do something with Bitcoin or Ethereum, or I'm going to get the crop report from Beats. But now I have some poker tells, and after I pull one of these off, before I run from the table, I'm going to do a Lyman laugh.
Thank you very much. Viva Las Vegas. All right, next up, 562. You're on Pokersesh.
This is the guy that knows everything about DJing but doesn't know shit about poker.
Oh, there he goes, DJ Melody. What's up, DJ Melody?
Grandmaster Limon.
You're
Grandmaster Limon, how are you, buddy?
You're on, brother. I heard you're sitting at the table with our friend Kevin right now.
I am. I stepped outside I had to call in and welcome, in the words of Joey Knish, congratulations on your alley-like return to the live stream streets. I love to see it.
Thank you. Boom, bap, original rap. Boom, bap, original rap. Return of the real hard beats and real rap.
Shout out to KRS-One.
Yeah, KRS-One. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
hip hop. So I don't want to derail your Poker Tell Summit, and shout out to the Grandmaster Zach. So on a related note, I do have to say I have both books. I bought and read them both years ago, and I play the small stakes. I'm 5'5", 5'10" player, but there is one tell that I found the most reliable in the first book, which is, I'd say, 80% of the time, it's the tell, Zach, if you're still on the line, that you mentioned, where on the river, when facing a big bet and your opponent is just staring blankly at the board, a lot of times they're bluffing. And out of all the tells that you mentioned, there was a lot of great ones in the book, and thank you for sharing all that information. But to me, again, at the stakes that I play, the smaller games here in Los Angeles and especially in Vegas, that has been the most reliable. So thanks
for saying that. And there's, just by the way, so you know, I got 3 books and there's a video series. But yeah, real quick, that actually.
Hey, Zach. DJ Melody stopped following you 8 years ago.
No, I've been following the whole time. I remember when he co-hosted or did the commentating at Live at the Bike, and obviously shouted out his book. And I'm obviously a professional DJ, and if barely an amateur poker player, according to Abe Lyman, the legend. But I like to listen to the pods. I like to study the game. I like to watch the streams, and I like to, on occasion, pick up some literature and jump in the lab.
Yeah, no, I think that one you mentioned is actually, I was just talking about that with this high stakes player that I've been consulting with, working with. We were talking about that tell because it had been coming up a good amount in the stream footage we were analyzing. So yeah, I do think that's a powerful one, and obviously you have to, for people listening, you have to watch people a bit, because some people just stare at the board no matter what. But for some people, for a good amount of people, I think there's this imbalance, and staring at something can mean there's a lack of impulse to look away like they would have if they actually connected, right? Because when people connect with something, there's this impulse to kind of hide your treasure and look away from it, like you don't want to draw attention. There's kind of this just instinct to kind of hide your treasure, whether it's your whole cards or the board cards. So a lot of times when you see people just staring at the board cards, it can be a indication that, and I think it often manifests with them staring at the board cards as they come out and just never looking away from them, right? That to me is highly correlated with somebody who, assuming they don't always do that, right? That can be highly correlated with weakness. Yeah.
Hey, Melody. Melody.
Yeah.
I want to give you a tell. I want to help you out right now.
Oh, please do. I need all the help I can get. I don't know shit about poker. I need
No,
help.
you're Melody, give me a fucking break. You have been around for a long time. You're a very good poker player. I consider you one of the
getting a read that you're experienced because you're overplaying the amateurness now. Yeah, I'm getting a read.
No,
you're pretty good.
Melody.
No, I'm just a fan of the game. That's all.
Melody is a king of the wheels of steel. He's reckless. He has gloves with.
Reckless Ice-T.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my jam.
He's reckless. Now listen to me, Melody. I'm going to give you a reverse tell that you can use. Are you ready?
I'm all ears.
Okay. This is an audio tell, so you got to pay close attention. Can you hear?
I can hear loud and clear.
You have
I just got the new iPhone, so I just got the new iPhone, so my speaker mode is amazing.
Okay.
It's almost as good as my DJ system. Go ahead.
Do you know what something called a poker clack is?
Poker clack.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the term. Please break it down for me.
Okay. Do you know this, Zach? Poker clack?
Oh yeah, Mike Caro's famous poker clack.
Yes. So the poker clack goes like this. It sounds like this. You've heard it before when people have the nuts. It sounds like this. I'm sucking in, sort of between my teeth and gum.
They would just do one. They wouldn't do a lot.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the poker clack. Sorry to interrupt you. That's a very common tell amongst the Asian players here in Southern California.
Yes.
They roll their eyes. They do the poker clack.
A
They
sign
act
of
like, oh my
disappointment.
God, they do the, oh my God, I'm so sick. And
Yes.
then they raise you.
Yes. So the next time you have the nuts, Melody, you've probably never done this before, but you should. You know what I'm talking about. The next time you have the nuts and you make a bet, do a tiny poker clack. Don't make it obvious. They check to you. You grab your chips. You think about it for a second. You go, whatever. You don't say whatever, but your face says whatever, and then you give a little tiny poker clack before you push all in. Okay?
Okay.
It's gonna.
All right. Duly noted.
It's gonna.
There's an interesting thing there where it's like, I think it can be very hard for people to do that because it feels so risky to express, weakness even when you're.
It doesn't matter.
When you're weak.
Melody can do it. No, you don't do it when you're weak. You do it when you have the nuts.
You're saying do it when you have the nuts.
You do it when you have the nuts.
I appreciate the information. So here, with all due respect, one thing that I've learned, in all truth, is over the years of being a bad poker player, is to be a complete rock.
All right. Wait. Zach. Wait. Zach.
I do the Doyle Brunson. I don't talk during a hand, whether I have it or I don't. So I try not to give off anything. No poker clack.
Wait. Zach was right. You do it when you're bluffing. I get confused. There's so many people on the phone. You do it when you're bluffing. You're about to make. Okay, listen. You look. Think about this. I'm going to give you the fucking thing. The guy has checked to me. I'm about to bluff. Okay. I have my hands on the chips. Okay, and he's checked to me. I'm about to bluff. I put my hands on the chips. I tilt my head just a tiny bit, like I'm thinking or pensive. Okay. He checks to me. I put my hands on the chips. I think for a second. I go, like I'm thinking about what to do. Then I push in the bluff. You're gonna get folds. I got it backwards because I've got like 5 people on hold. But okay, fuck it, Melody.
So wait. Before, hold on. I got this is a 2-part call, not to divert from our intellectual poker tells conversation, but I wanted to call in to obviously pay respects and shout out to Zach, shout out to you, Abe, congrats once again. But I also wanted to call in to have a peace summit. I've got Kevin, the one and only, right here live in the flesh.
What?
He wants to say hello. What's up, motherfucker?
Hey, Kevin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm working like a slave. God damn it.
Why are you boycotting the show, you bitch?
Because you're mean. You're evil. You're like the Grinch.
I know I am not mean. Just because I'm honest with you does not mean I'm mean. Are you mad because I wouldn't pick up on you except for the last call of the night?
Yes.
I knew that you were mad about that. Okay, Kevin, I'm going to do something for you. The next time we have a show, you can call in the middle if you want.
What about the beginning, motherfucker?
No, never, never.
Fuck you!
Okay, get lost, Kevin. Go fucking work at In-N-Out Burger, you dipshit. Okay, all right, next call. Anonymous, you're on Pokersesh.
Hey man, first of all, I'd like to express my respect for you. I've been listening to your material for quite a while now. I think you're very smart, very well-rounded approach to the game and gambling in general. And so I wanted to ask some advice from you.
Okay, sure.
So I found myself in a pretty advantageous private game situation out here. It's somewhat high rake, but it's a pretty deep game, plays pretty deep, and everybody's ready to give their money away. So
Okay.
I've been cleaning up pretty nicely. Basically, probably maybe the only winner in the pool, or definitely the biggest winner. And lately, it's starting to get a little sketchy, where everybody's kind of noticing this fact and starting to get a little displeased with this. In general, I tend to be pretty talkative, ready to, I'll do flips with people and try to keep it as light and fun. And like you said a couple of weeks ago, you said talk loose and play tight.
Right.
But I was just wondering if you had any advice on kind of ingratiating myself further so that I can stay in the situation for the foreseeable future.
Listen to me. Poker. Let's talk about the game for a second so I can get an idea of what is really going on.
Hey, buddy, I gotta take off, man.
Oh, hey, thanks, Zach. It was amazing. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, let's do it again soon. I'll talk to you soon about this other stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah, we can do that thing on Saturday if you want. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah.
It was great, my
I'll
man.
talk to you later. All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, it was great. Thanks.
There he goes.
All right.
The Tells Master, Zach Elwood. Okay, so Anonymous, listen. What's the blinds on this game?
Oh, it's usually a 5-10 game, but they're raking $30 max, 10% up to $30.
So they're basically raking 3 big blinds a hand.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something. Unless
What are the comps?
GS, let me handle this. Unless there's a lot of straddling going on, or unless the game is the average stack's probably at least 300 to 400 big blinds deep, that rake is brutal hard to beat.
Yeah.
So, is this a game where you can straddle?
Yeah, it's a game where you can straddle from anywhere, and people seem to be pretty inelastic to the pre-flop open sizes. People were calling
Right.
$80, $90, $100 with some shitty cards. I understand. I thought the same thing when I first found this game. I thought, man, that's going to be hard. That's a tough nut to crack on getting over that rake. But I've been playing this game about 2,000 hours now, and I'm making about 6 big blinds an hour. So that's not bad. So obviously, I kind of proven that I can beat that rake.
No, that's
not for a huge amount, but.
No, that's actually if you were to have me get, and the game's deep. What's the average stack?
It starts light at the end of the night, but at the beginning of the night. But once we're in there 4 or 5 hours, you got everybody with 3-4K.
Right.
At least sometimes it gets 6-7 plus.
No, so your win rate's 100% what I would guess. It's 100% what I would guess.
Okay.
That rake is only unbeatable if you're playing a strict 5-10 game with strict 100 big blind stacks. You cannot beat that game. But you're basically
Sure.
You're basically playing 5-10-20. Because there's a lot of straddling going on and the stacks are very deep. And in a really good 5-10-20 game, you could easily make $100 an hour, probably closer to $120 an hour. The fact that you're making $60 an hour is because the rake is just high. It's crazy. A lot of your profit at least half of your profits going down the drain. But that's fine. You're still making
Right.
$60 an hour. $60 an hour is a lot of money, in general. And if you're having fun, it's really a lot of money.
Right.
Now, you are afraid of getting uninvited because these guys have been watching you win for 2,000 hours, and over 2,000 hours at $60 an hour, correct me if I'm wrong, you've won well over $100,000.
That's correct.
Right. So how many people actually know you've won over $100,000, or do they just count you as like a guy who usually wins?
A guy who usually wins. I don't know if anybody has a real figure on it.
Right.
I don't think the host keeps really sharp
Right.
books. But I mean, he knows that I'm usually going in to the back room to cash out more often than not. And anyway, so I don't think anybody has a feel for the exact
That's good.
figures. But
That's
I think
good.
that
That's
people
good.
would know. People realize, like, hey, man, you tend to cash out a lot at night. You're not going home early very often.
Right. And has the host actually said something to you?
Not like took me to the side, but he'll say like, oh, this guy, my name's Scott, and he's like, oh, Scott's newfound career as a poker pro or something like
Right.
that. Or he'll say like, we'll talk about like, hey, do you guys want to do round by round PLO? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, shut up, Scott. You're the one guy who's not allowed to say no.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Now this is very, very important. You are still in a zone where you can make this happen. Okay. Because the host hasn't pulled you to the side yet, it means that you still are in his medium good graces. He still needs you for something. Like the game is short sometimes, or you're helpful in some way.
Yep.
Because if you were not helpful in any way, he would have already said, don't call me, I'll call you. Maybe we'll get you in here once a month or something.
Right.
So when the important thing to remember is when the host makes a joke about you, it's not a joke. Okay?
I get that.
When he says the last person we need to hear from is Scott, what he's actually saying is, Scott, shut the fuck up. All right? And you're a sharp guy. You obviously know that. But I mean, you got to really, really ingrain that. And the other thing you got to do is you got to use the amount of skills you have at poker interpersonally with this host to preemptively make sure that he finds you like necessary. Okay? So,
Okay.
you need to listen to this host when this host is talking about things and he doesn't think everybody's listening or he doesn't think that everybody's getting what's going on. So if this host says something like, if one of the fish says, you said the game started at 6, it didn't even start till 6:30. And then the host says something like, well, poker players just don't fucking show up on a schedule, buddy. Right? What you should hear in that conversation is, I'm here at fucking 6. At the table, chips in front of me, ready to fucking gamble, okay? Because it was the host sort of saying something like, I need a little help, all right? He wasn't saying it to you and it's not a coded message. You have to hear this and learn this, all right? If the game is about to break at night and the dude is saying, and the host is saying, listen, I can't fucking stay here all night and fucking play. You need to fucking say like something like, hey, when you see him in the bathroom some other time or you see him alone, you need to say to him something like, hey, if you want to keep that fucking rake rolling, I have no fucking problem playing all night. I will do what it takes to keep the game running to help because I see that you're working your fucking ass off, buddy. All right?
Right.
This is sort of gay. But you need to subserve yourself to the situation. You need to be subservient. Because if you're going to take 6 figures a year out of this motherfucker's game, he needs to think like you earned it. Right?
Right.
And you don't earn it by check raising fish. You earn it by making
Right.
you earn it by making his life easier. If the host brings a ball Johnny Walker Blue and you take a shot and then he says, "What are you, a fucking fish? How much can you drink?" Never fucking take a shot again, all right? Like, it's sort of like dealing with Joe Pesci. Everything that's a joke is not a joke. And everything that he complains about is a chance for you to make his life easier. And through an unspoken relationship that may become very, very spoken at some point, you never know when he just says, like, "Listen, we need to fucking set this shit in stone. You show up at fucking 6 p.m. on the dot. You buy in for this much. You never fucking leave. You never say no. You don't fucking touch the Johnny Walker Blue." Whatever it is, you're taking over $100,000 a year out of the game. You have to, you got to play ball. And if you play ball, here's one thing you need to know about poker hosts. They fucking their life is, no matter how easy their life seems at any moment in time, it gets hard at other moments in time. Holding a poker game together is a fucking bitch. Getting fucking Chauncey Billups to show up and shut the fuck up is a fucking bitch, Whatever the fuck he's doing, all the credit lines and everything else, is anything you can do to take one little thing off his table, you do it. Now, I'm not saying that you're his employee, and I'm not saying that you show up or do anything that doesn't happen between the time the game starts and the time the game ends. But what I'm saying is, from the time the game starts until the time the game ends, you just make his life as easy as possible. And this also includes when he gets in arguments with people. Take his side. When he needs help with anything that's going on while the game is going on, you just take his side. And what ends up happening is he ends up saying, "That Scott guy, he is important to the game. He helps me make this fucking thing go." He ends up thinking that he's a badass. He ends up saying, like, "That fucking guy's like an unpaid employee for me." This is the things, you subserve yourself to that. Because because you're smarter than everybody in the fucking room, that at the end of the day, you get all the fucking money. So that's the best advice I can give you on that.
All right, I like it a lot, man. I'm going to probably watch the replay on this and kind of think about the ways in which I can best apply your advice and kind of make I'm kind of along those lines already, but like you bringing it into focus like that will allow me to kind of like hone myself in on it a little bit more and see what else I can do.
And also remember, if he rules against you on something and it isn't enough money to change your life, just fucking go with it. Go with it.
Got it.
Because you never want to trip over a quarter to pick up a penny. Okay?
Right.
So if he says, if you say, "Listen, this fucking guy did this fucking thing at the end and it cost me $1,000 pot," and then he says, "No, he didn't do that thing. Nothing you saying here is what happened. It happened the exact opposite of what you said happened." Then you say, "You know what? I've thought about it and you're right." Because you don't want to trip over, $1,000 when you think you can pick up $120,000. And when you do something like that, and when you like look him in the eye while you're doing it, he's gonna know that you are the Lord. All right.
All right, Limon.
Because he's gonna know that you're not a bitch for $1,000. That you're thinking a lot more about this stuff.
Right.
All right, take it easy, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Here we go.
914, what's up?
All right. I didn't want to talk about poker tells. That shit is boring. But anyways, what's a nuanced way to basically say, don't give that guy any action. He only plays the nuts, unlike me, who gives a ton of action without using those exact words. Or is it bad to even entertain the concept of speaking about the mere concept of poker strategy at the table, mentioning words like tight or the nuts. Should one just go full Zen Tommy Angelo mode? Never even step anywhere near the idea of speaking about the most mundane, simple strategy concept at the poker table, and keep the table talk to strictly non-poker stuff. Sports, smoking cigars, beer, etc. Women, drugs, hookers, friendly non-poker banter, etc. Is that the most pussy be? Or
Listen,
can you ever...
listen. This all hinges on one question. Is the person who's the nit bad for the game? Because if they're bad for the game, you can say anything you want. You can even punch them in the right circumstance. But all nits aren't bad for the game. Some nits are really nice guys. Some nits are well liked, okay? So like I used to play with the guy who owned Affliction, or it was one of those things, Tap Out or something. You remember this guy, Melody?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
You remember that guy? I used to play with this guy. He owned Tap Out. That's what it was, Tap Out. Super rich guy.
Tap out. Okay.
Super rich guy. Always wore Tap Out sweatsuit. You would think this guy was a fish. He was not a fish. You would think he was loose. He was not loose. But everybody loved him. He would talk to everybody about UFC fights. He knew all the fighters. He would even get people tickets sometimes. He fucking played one hand an hour, maximum. You do not talk smack about that guy. You do not cause trouble for that guy. Is he good for the game? From a money standpoint? No, he's horrible from the game. But everybody liked him. So you can't talk smack about him and you can't cause trouble for him. Now, let's say you got some fucking Eurodork from buttfuck Slovakia. The fucking guy's fucking got his stinky ass fucking food he brought from home. He's taking it out of his backpack. The fucker's got on the
There's
fucking...
two of them at my table right now.
Yeah.
Two of them at my table right now. Continue.
You can say anything you want to them. Anything. You could say you fucked their... You could say, listen, buddy, I just got through fucking your fucking mother. You want to smell my dick? You could say anything you want to them because they are unliked and unlikable. So when you decide if you're going to call out a nit or a winning player, you have to also decide whether they are liked or unliked. Because you never call out somebody who's liked and you always call out people who are unliked. And that's basically the rules of the road in that regard, Mr. JG.
Good insight.
Thank
Next
you.
one.
That's why you call.
You said that poker...
Hey, let's go to 562. 562, what's up?
Lyman, real quick. I know you're wrapping up the show. Hey, so I'm going to pitch you an idea here for Q1 or Q2 of 2026.
Okay.
So I don't know if you heard from our dear friend D22 So, but I just opened a pizza restaurant in Redlands, which is on the far east side.
Right.
I would love to get an edition of Pokersesh, and we call it Pizza Sesh. We'll get Wayne to drive you out. I have a full bar. I have 90 seats. I have a DJ booth. We'll play KRS-One. We'll drink the good grape juice, and we'll talk that talk. I'm going to leave that with you.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm 100% in, but
You can't say I'm 100% in and then throw in the butt. What is that?
I need to tell you something.
What is that?
I need to tell you something.
Okay. All right, please.
I don't necessarily get along with the Redlands Police Department.
What are you talking about? They love poker. They love low stakes, no limit hold'em.
There is,
and they do not frequent my. They do not frequent my establishment.
Okay.
There's no risk of ruin for you.
I could get
a single live stream called Pizza Sesh.
If these fucking people could pick me up like an ICE fucking agent, they would. I don't even drive through.
Okay.
I don't even drive through Redlands. Now, Am I going to do it? Yes, because I'm not a pussy. But I'm going to need to ride in somebody else's car. I'm not even joking. Because I don't want them to impound my car.
So we're going to get the murdered out Suburban with the bulletproof doors, the bulletproof glass,
Right?
the 200% blackout tent.
Yes.
No one's going to ever know you were in the neighborhood on a Wednesday.
Secret Service.
Perfect.
Dude,
Perfect.
I'm not even 100% in. I'm 1,000% in.
Love it. I told you, I got a full bar. I got Dow. I got Justin. I might even have to pull in a special order from one of our liquor vendors and order a bottle of Faniente.
I cannot wait. This sounds like the greatest night of my life, as long as I don't end up in prison.
No, I promise you won't end up in prison. We got the Redlands PD on the payroll. So
Okay, good, because the Redlands Police Department is they're a piece of work. They are a piece of work.
They love us. They love us. They love us. Hey, but in all seriousness, I want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
So I've been, a recreational poker player for a long time. I've been over here at the Gardens before it was the tent. I was here when it was 2 trailers in 1999. I'm from the Rounders era.
Yeah.
When I really didn't know shit about poker, I played through the boom. I lived in Las Vegas. I was a resident DJ for a long, long time. And then I know how much you love children. I had 2 kids.
Right.
So I took about 3.5 years off, didn't play a single hand, didn't walk into a card room for almost 4 years.
Right.
I moved back to LA. 2015, and one night I'm scrolling through YouTube, and Pokersesh popped up on my feed.
Right.
And I was like, what is this? And so I clicked it, and I was thoroughly entertained. And obviously at this time you were, part owner of Live at the Bike. You had an equitable stake in Live at the Bike.
That's
and
right.
I had never, in all my years of growing up in Southern California, never really cared to play at the bicycle for whatever reason. I was always a Gardens or the Commerce or occasionally Hollywood Park or the Normandy way back in the day. But you made poker look so fun, and obviously I hadn't played the game in quite some time, but I was like, I made it a point. I was like, wow, this guy looks like a lot of fun.
Right.
So credit to you for bringing me back into poker. Everything you did for Live at the Bike, those were some really fun times. You used to play, the small stakes, the 5-5, the 5-10, the 2-3 streams with what was that? You and Nicole. I know she's left the building, so to speak.
Right.
But those were great, man. We used to play the games, and we'd go have cocktails at the brewery.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm really glad to see you back on stream, brother. It's doing a good thing, and I wish you all the success. And I know that the stream is going to grow. I know we've got 20-something people in the building right now, but a year from now, those numbers are gonna, we're gonna see 5, 6x.
Hey,
so I'm glad to see you back on deck.
Melody. We also got another 25 people at Twitch, so we're really got big numbers.
Oh, we're doing some serious numbers.
We're doing some serious numbers. Hey, Melody, let me tell you something, buddy. When I think of guys that get it, when I play at the table with you, you get it. You understand the fucking assignment. Your knowledge of fucking music and your ability to engage in conversation with people is amazing. And from the first time I ever met you, I said, you know what? Get this guy in the booth. Get this guy in the game. This is one of the good ones. And so, I hope everything's going great for you. And I can't wait to come out there, hide from the police, and eat some pizza.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to holler at you. Congrats, hey, good to see you back on deck, brother. And,
you too. Say hi to Kevin.
Okay.
Okay, bye. There he goes.
Okay.
Make sure you get Grimaldi's pizza.
Yeah, Grimaldi's is great. Do you have anything to do with that, Grimstar?
Listen, I don't really know my dad's side of the family. He doesn't want to talk about those guys.
All right, last question of the night. There's only one more question.
Last question of the night. You said that poker, deep down, is a game that's originated by criminals. Any thoughts on this Stu Unger guy being mobbed up there in his cash games? He's got these muscle dudes sweating them. Does that make it less likely that people are going to call your bluffs at 3-bet you, etc.? Because when I played in the crime game, there was this guy who ran the game. He had a history of hitting people with blunt objects, And at least one time he told me, if I ever see you on the street again, I'm going to shoot you.
Right.
And it kind of made me clam up a little bit. And I wasn't sure why he was so angry at me. It was like, was it because I clogged his toilet that one time and I forgot to flush midway through? But
Yeah.
anyways, then he said he was just kidding. We kind of laughed it off, and I was still kind of semi-nervous. But anyways, he was pretty friendly with his bank robber guy. He usually did like the poker bank. I mean, anyways, if this guy opened a pot, my thought process kind of instinctually made me like lean away from mine to three bet him light, or get into pots with him because like in general, I was just worried he's gonna like.
Okay,
maybe
wait,
cheat me down or
wait,
something.
Grimstar. What the fuck is the question?
hang on,
Is the
hang on,
question?
hang on.
Hey, wait. Is the question? Should you fucking do a courtesy flush so you don't get shot in the street? What
No,
the
not
fuck is
that,
going
not
on here?
that. Listen, it's a deeper question than
Okay.
that. Is it weak type pussy ass bitch thinking to be trying to stay at the pots with guys like that? Like I play with like guys that are like convicted murderers, like
Right.
face tattoo guys, playing at the same table as them.
Right.
Strictly non-casino games, you probably want to, stay away from getting them mad in the casino. It doesn't really matter. You can get them tilted because like they're not going to do anything in the casino. Basically, is it plus EV to like join a gang and like befriend these gang people or get prison tats, etc. To project like a scary table image where the juice not worth the squeeze.
The
And
juice.
then the follow-up is like, I know you said that there's like crazier poker room brawls, like where Viffer got beaten up to a pulp by
Right.
Cheeky.
Right.
But have you ever seen someone like wild out in a home game, like pistol at someone or something of
Well-
that sort, like a private non-casino game? And if so, like how do you react to it?
Well, thank you. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the last question of the night. No, I haven't actually seen that, but it does happen. There's been lots of shootings and lots of fist fights and lots of blood at home games in Los Angeles. It's very common knowledge. Sometimes it's even on the news. I don't want to have any part in any of that. None of it. At this point in my life. When I was much younger, I would do much more riskier things. I'd be involved in much more riskier stuff. I like your questions, Grimstar, because I get to answer them in a way that most people don't answer questions. Everything is on a curve. It's on a spectrum. There is a time in your life when it's worth it to do a lot of crazy shit. And, more wine? Wow, look, an arm is coming in here. And it's giving me
Overtime?
more wine. My wife is giving me more wine. What a doll.
Does that mean overtime?
No, overtime. This is still the last question, but so like Grimmy, you just have to ask yourself, like, what am I? Do I need this? Is it worth it? I know this is not a fun answer. It's not like a definitive answer, but like in general, if you are, I don't know what you do for a living. I'm sure, I guarantee it's not poker, but you probably have
I'm kind of
income.
like Joey Kanish or whatever that guy's name is. Like I work at like the truck place. If you want to drive a truck, hit me up. I'll get you down driving a truck.
Yeah, well,
But I
that's.
play poker too.
But I mean, do you make good money from your job? Is it a career?
I've lost more in a hand of poker than they give me in a year. It's all right. It's easy, but I'm not crazy about it.
So, like, maybe you do want to take risks. Maybe you do want a neck tattoo. I mean, none of these things hurt anybody else. These are just decisions you have to make for yourself. Like, I am pretty risk averse. I'm actually probably very risk averse. I'm not getting a neck tattoo for fucking nothing. But I was a lot more risky in my younger life than I am now. Obviously now I won't do anything. Now I fucking don't even want to. I fucking own bonds and gold. I'm so fucking risk averse. But if for some reason I was broke tomorrow and had to fucking go on living my life, I would probably end up doing a lot of super fucking risky things. It's just where you are on the spectrum, violence though is a completely different animal than. Once it goes to violence, it's a completely different animal. I've been around violent people. I've been around dangerous people. It's fun, but you understand that it's going to end badly. And so I've gotten away from those situations basically as fast as I could. And even in the situations where I got away from it as fast as I could, other people that stuck around made a lot more money than me. But some people did get themselves in a lot of trouble. And, life is just a series of choices, a series of decisions. It's a series of weights and balances. This is why I don't judge people on like a strict absolution, like prostitution is absolutely wrong, smoking crack is absolutely wrong, this gambling is absolutely wrong, physical violence nothing is absolutely wrong or absolutely right. Everything happens on a
Have you ever smoked
continuum.
crack, Rodman?
No, I have never smoked crack. But I wouldn't
Okay.
I wouldn't hold it against somebody that they smoke crack. I mean, the world needs crack smokers. So listen, I don't know if I've helped you out with this other than saying don't underestimate how good your life is and don't overestimate how much you can get from putting yourself in danger. This is my fatherly advice. Your life
Thanks,
is
Pat.
your life is probably a lot better than you think it is, and putting yourself in danger is probably a lot worse than you think it is. To put yourself in danger, your life needs to be complete fucking shit. And most white educated men in the United States of America, able-bodied men, are living a life better than 99.9% of the world can even imagine. So there's just no reason to put yourself in danger. Just keep moving forward, using your brain, using your body. Don't risk your brain or body. All right, buddy? There he
This is
is.
the end.
Thanks, Grimstar. Hopefully you're still alive next week. If you're still alive next week, can't wait to hear from you.
Don't forget to sing this song.
Oh, do you want me to sing the end?
I need you to sing.
Okay, I said, you know what? I said I was going to do it.
I got the instrumentals. You just gotta sing along.
I don't even need the instrumental. You asked me to do it. I'm going to do it. The only problem is I don't know if I can remember the lyrics, but here we go. Here we go. This is the end. Beautiful friend. This is the end. My only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end. No safety or surprise. The end. I'll never look into your eyes again. Can you picture what we'll see? So limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's plan in a desperate land, lost in a Roman wilderness of pain. Let me take a sip. Where all the children are insane. All the children are insane. for the southern rain, yeah! Father, yes, son, I want to kill you. Mother, I want to fuck you, mama, all day long. Make love to your mama. I'm gonna fuck you, baby, all night, yeah. Bye-bye.